I kindly request Mr. Kishor Mandal sir, scientist, CBIS, to proceed with the video presentation.
मानव बनाते हैं और मानकों के माध्यम से जीवन में गुणवत्ता के सजग समाज और राष्ट्र। देश की आजादी के वर्ष की आरंभ हुई इस यात्रा में विगत वर्षों में समय के बदलाव के साथ कई नई प्रक्रिया, प्रस्तुतियां, प्रयोग और पदक्षेप देखे। आज हम कुछ नए पदक्षेप देखेंगे जिनका उद्देश्य है उद्योग और उपभोक्ता दोनों की अपेक्षाओं पर खरा उतरना। अब हम डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन के उस चरण में पहुंच चुके हैं जहां मानकीकरण, कंफर्मिटी असेसमेंट, प्रयोगशाला प्रबंधन, हॉलमार्किंग जैसे तमाम कार्य क्षेत्र ऑनलाइन प्रविधियों से संचालित होते हैं। EBIS www.manakonline.in एक एकीकृत पोर्टल है जो डेटा प्रबंधन और एनालिसिस के अध्ययन टूल से युक्त है और संगठन की हर एक गतिविधि की रियल टाइम मॉनिटरिंग सुनिश्चित करता है। अब हर नए मानक का निर्धारण और पुराने का पुनरीक्षण एक सुकल्पित शोध प्रक्रिया पर आधारित है। अब एक्शन रिसर्च को मानकीकरण का अभिन्न अंग मानते हैं। BIS मानकीकरण हेतु अब अलग ढांचे में बटा हुआ संगठन नहीं है। समग्र संगठन की अवधारणा के अनुरूप इसमें कार्यरत प्रत्येक साइंटिफिक और तकनीकी ऑफिसर मानक निर्धारण और पुनरीक्षण से जुड़ा हुआ है। हर नए और पुनरीक्षित मानक को संबद्ध स्टेक होल्डर्स के बीच विधिवत प्रस्तुत करने और मानकों के मसौदों पर विमर्श को गहन और व्यापक बनाने के एक प्रभावी मंच के रूप में परिकल्पना की गई है। मानक मंथन की मानकों पर चर्चा अब केवल ब्यूरो के मुख्यालय में टेक्निकल कमेटियों में ही नहीं वरन इसके 38 शाखा कार्यालयों में हर एक माह हो रही है। मानकों के प्रति तकनीकी और पेशेवर शिक्षा प्राप्त कर रहे हमारे विद्यार्थियों का ज्ञान बढ़े और हमारे तकनीकी शिक्षा संस्थान मानक निर्धारण की प्रक्रिया और आवश्यक शोध कार्य में सहभागी बने। इस उद्देश्य से हमने IITs और अन्य महत्वपूर्ण संस्थानों में चेयर ऑन स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन स्थापित करने का निर्णय लिया। हर्ष का विषय ये है कि तकनीकी शिक्षा के हमारे दिग्गज संस्थानों ने इसे हाथों हाथ लिया है। समाज में मानकों का महत्व गुणवत्ता की मांग पर आधारित है। नई उदीयमान पीढ़ी को गुणवत्ता के विमर्श से जोड़ने के प्रयास के रूप में माध्यमिक विद्यालयों एवं महाविद्यालयों में स्टैंडर्ड्स क्लब गठित किए जा रहे हैं। 6,738 से ज्यादा क्लब्स का गठन हो चुका है और 1,78,200 से अधिक छात्र इनसे जुड़ चुके हैं। हमारे लघु और सूक्ष्म उद्योग अधिक से अधिक मानकों का अनुसरण करें और कंफर्मिटी असेसमेंट से जुड़े इस हेतु किए गए प्रयासों में उल्लेखनीय है निःशुल्क उत्पाद आधारित अल्पावधि प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम। पिछले वर्ष से अब तक कुल 404 प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रमों का आयोजन किया जा चुका है और परिणाम उत्साहजनक है। इसी लक्ष्य को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए हम छात्रों, शिक्षकों और लघु तथा सूक्ष्म उद्योगों से जुड़े लोगों के लिए प्रयोगशाला तथा फैक्ट्रीज में एक्सपोजर विजिट्स भी आयोजित कर रहे हैं। हमारी प्रयोगशालाएं अब केवल उत्पादों के परीक्षण ही नहीं बल्कि प्रशिक्षण के केंद्रों के रूप में विकसित हो रही हैं। हमारी विश्वसनीयता तभी बढ़ेगी जब हम लाइसेंस हेतु प्राप्त आवेदनों का त्वरित और कालबद्ध निष्पादन सुनिश्चित करें। सूचना प्रौद्योगिकी के प्रयोग और प्रोसेस री इंजीनियरिंग के माध्यम से हम ये सुनिश्चित कर पाए हैं कि सिंप्लीफाइड प्रक्रिया के तहत प्राप्त 100% आवेदनों का निष्पादन निर्धारित समय सीमा यानी 1 माह के अंदर हो जाए। नॉर्मल प्रक्रिया के तहत प्राप्त आवेदनों के संबंध में भी समयबद्ध निष्पादन का प्रतिशत 95% तक पहुंच चुका है। हमने अपने शाखा कार्यालय और उनमें कार्यरत अधिकारियों के लिए दक्षता सूचकांक आधारित निगरानी एवं मूल्यांकन प्रक्रिया लागू की है। उपभोक्ता हितों की रक्षा के उद्देश्य से हम मानक बनाते हैं जो कि उत्पादों की गुणवत्ता और सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करते हैं। इन्हीं मानकों के आधार पर गुणवत्ता नियंत्रण आदेश QCO जारी किए जाते हैं। QCO सभी संबंधित निर्माताओं, विक्रेताओं, आयातकों के लिए BIS लाइसेंस तथा उत्पाद पर स्टैंडर्ड चिन्ह को अनिवार्य करता है। इसी क्रम में उपभोक्ताओं की सुरक्षा तथा उत्पाद गुणवत्ता को ध्यान में रखते हुए हाल ही में कई सामान्य उपभोक्ता वस्तुओं पर भी QCO जारी किए गए हैं, जैसे कि छत के पंखे, खाना पकाने के बर्तन, जूते चप्पल, पानी की बोतल, माइटर इत्यादि भी शामिल हैं। और हम जानते हैं अभी कई नए मुकाम हासिल करने हैं, कई नई इबारतें लिखनी हैं। बदलते देश के साथ हमें भी बदलना है।
informative video presentation sheds light on the activities of Bureau of Indian Standards. Thank you Kishor Mandal sir for this presentation. Now we are honored to have with us Professor Shailendra Kumar sir, and we are privileged to have with us Senior Retired Professor of DLIS, University of Delhi, a beacon of knowledge and leadership in our midst. With a career spanning decades, Professor Shailendra Kumar sir has not only shaped our minds but also influenced as an academician. As the current chairman of Bureau of Indian Standards, chairman of MSD5, Bureau of Indian Standards, his expertise in the field of standards as well as in library and information sciences unparalleled. So without further delay, I kindly request Professor Shailendra Kumar sir for his address to the audience and share his insights with this esteemed gathering.
Good morning to everyone, and I am really privileged here to interact with you. Let me tell you, I always, whenever we are interacting professionally, I always say, let us start with the beginning, so that it will be very easy for us to understand what is going on all around us, and what we are thinking is how we can correlate. Now, when we think of standards, my first interaction with the Bureau of Indian Standards was some 7 years back. That was that they have invited me as an expert in some meeting, and that meeting was they were discussing about Dublin Core, and they were saying the Dublin Core, that was the standard internationally, and what we can add into it, what we can modify into it. So there were many members and they were discussing about Dublin Core, and therein we were trying to incorporate the metadata related with the digital objects that they are coming up. That was my first interaction. But that was the time when I was called, because I was interacting with the IT component in the Department of Library Science at master degree. So I thought, okay, let me share my experiences also, or along with my PhD scholars. I went there for 2 times. Then after leaving from the Delhi University, somehow I got invitations from the BIS to work with the MSD5. So when I attended my first meeting, before that I was not knowing what is standard. Because let me tell you very clear, in our courses of bachelor degree or master degree of library information science, even Delhi University syllabus is not having detailed components on these standards. And we are thinking now, let us create a course material or a syllabus on standards, and one of our member, Professor Manoj Joshi ji, he has already started working on that, and he has done some very good work in that area. So we'll come later on those points. So when I was attending my first meeting standard, I said, what is standard and how it is to be done? They said there are international standard, there is a ISO organization, and then we have a BIS, and we create a national standard, and there are international standards. So I was little bit not clear what is national standard and how they are interacting with the international standards. So after attending few minutes and interacting with the member, I got an idea what exactly the standards is. You have seen in the first our chief guest introduction what the standard is, and after attending, so far I attended something about 10-15 meetings. Out of these 3-4 officials, and many of these are my personal visits to the BIS office to interact with the officials. Why I am saying all these things is to really think that we have to really start with the scratch and develop our ideas. The main thing in the standard is, let me tell you, when we define it, they say the quality aspects. the reliability aspects. Anything you are discussing, if it has a quality aspects or reliability aspects or larger acceptance, then we adopt it. It can be simply the procedure that we are trying to do in library and information science, or it can be some guidelines in library and information science, and later it can be some code in library and information science. Then I thought, okay, if this is the definition of standard and the way they are working, oh, I have interacted with such type of things. So I remembered my college time when I was student, that in BLIC or MLIC we heard of code. We have a classified cataloging code of Indian standard and an international standard, and then we are having in the digital environment there are many standards are coming. Before joining Delhi University, I remember when I was in Instock CSIR, I was working with the database, and we were working with the CDS ISIS database that was done by the UNESCO. And there in the software they have having a program which is called ISO 2709. That was the first time I heard what is this ISO 2709. That was an international standard 2709 related with the library science, and that was related with the data interchange within the software. So then I started correlating, oh, if this is the standard ISO we are having in library science many, then the responsibility came that what to do next in BIS. I thought, let me share my experiences with my professional colleagues, my research scholars, students, so that we can really gear up and start thinking in those lines. We are really waiting for each one of you to really start thinking. When you will start thinking, yes, yes and yes, a new ideas develop. And this is what we are waiting for. See, today when I was coming here, I was driving my car and I was thinking in the standard like a MSD, we are having a documentation and information, and there is another is a social responsibility. I said, social responsibility, what is this? Standards are there in social responsibility. We have a CCC code and we have a ISO 2709. What is in the social responsibility BIS is doing? What international standards are there? Then I was thinking and reminded in my mind that this is just like in our social responsibility, we have in India our own social culture. And why not to streamline this? Maybe there will be something different connotation. Then immediately I was thinking, in India, in the society, how our first rule, regulation and standards started. And I may be saying something different, but the first rule which is started in our life socially, when the newborn baby comes, when the newborn baby comes, a few hours born, then there is a standard. When they present a baby to the mother or to the father or to the relatives, the nurse starts a first rule. They wrap the small baby in some sheet and then they come. I was thinking, why they are not bringing it as it is, a naked baby. They are not doing it. I said, why they are not doing? Maybe some social things, so they are covering. So that's the first thing. And when the baby grows up, then the rules and regulations starts from the home. The first rules and regulation starts in our social area is the mother and the father. They make a rule for the baby. And if the baby is not following the rule, guideline, they have some, a punishment. And this is what is coming in our society also. I was talking about social responsibility. That is coming in our society also. We are having so many rules and regulations to work in this society. to work in the family, to work in our mohalla, and to work in our work environment, and to work with the ladies to ladies, male to male and male to female. There are rules, and if you are not following the rules, then we have a punishment, and that punishment is a law, right? And let us come back to the baby area. The first thing with the mother do in the name of a punishment is they hold the ear. Why you are not doing it, right? And then, you know, to your surprise, I was noting down the words in this sheet. I took my pen and I started noting down the words in this sheet, because idea is very, very important. If it gets skipped or the word gets skipped, then you are difficult to streamline the things. So this is what happens with the small baby in the home. And now when they go to the school, then in the school also there is a code of conduct, and the code of conduct started with a new word, and that is what is called a discipline. A discipline, the way you behave, right? In the school we are having a discipline, and if somebody is not following, they are having a disciplinary committee, you know. And the first discipline is that you have to come in the school dress, school uniform. And they regularly check, in many schools they regularly check whether you are really in that school code uniform or not. And see, whenever we are putting a rules and regulations, people, they don't accept. They say, no, give us a freedom. You know, it's very difficult to accept rules and regulations. This is what is happening with the library and information science. We are not following rules and regulations when we come into practice, right? Okay, back to school. So when they are in the uniform and people are not the students, they say, no, we don't want all the time uniform. Then there's many schools, they said, okay, fine, we'll give you one day in a week, you can come in your own dresses. I don't know what is that. Every school has that day. So the students are very happy. Some schools have, besides the school uniform, they have again defined, okay, daily white shirt, grey pant, you can come now in a yellow one and a pink one or the blue one. So they have a groups like that. And you know, same thing, many higher educational institutions also having a school code for the students. Even in the colleges and the universities. If you go to the private universities, you will find the graduates and postgraduate students, they are coming in the dress code. And this rule is so common in our society. We always look for an invitation. If there is an invitation from the embassy or from some organization, they write dress code is this. Dress code is, you know, formal or informal, so you have to come in that. So the rules, the conduct, it starts from the day the baby is born and the way we are progressing. That is the societal things, social responsibilities with the punishment and with the law, so that everyone should follow. Now when it comes to library and information science, we do have codes and all these guidelines, but are we following or not? Very difficult. You know, some they don't follow. We heard of a first standard in library science when we think of a Ranganathan. I still remember they say Ranganathan has developed standards for library furniture. How the reading chairs should be there, how the reading table, and what sort of a circulation desk. So that was my first query when I visited my BIS library. I said, okay, do you have a standards on library furniture? So I was trying to see the names who designed that standard. And you know, there is a very important thing in this standard is that once it is designed, then after regular interval, they say let us revise it, because environment is changing. And in library and information science also, our environment is changing so fast. From the print era, we have entered into the digital era. And in the digital era, the lot of equipment, hardware and softwares are coming up. Now I'll give you one example. Let us say this software, CDS-ISIS is having with one ISO 2709 for a data interchange, and For library software, there was a period 1987 onward, so many private vendors, so many educational institutions, or the companies, they have started developing their library softwares. And some are selling it with 50,000, some are 20,000, some in lakhs. Those who are selling with the 20,000, 30,000, they are not following. I have seen there is no standards in this. There is no set guidelines that how your cataloging screen should look like, how your circulation screen should look like. So it means we do need standards even for a library management software. And there are library management software which are internationally accepted and they have a rules. Like for example, in the cataloging we are using for data entry, we are using authority files or a master file. Earlier the local software they are not having. Now many software have started seeing what other people are doing. So this is something which started in my mind. I thought, okay, if this is the case, now let us come together. When I got a chance with BIS, let me tell you, in the BIS, most of the time, whenever I am going there, I am interacting with Kishor Mandal. He is my first point of contact there. He is also a member secretary for our MSD5, and MSD5 is documentation and information. And being a member secretary, I am always interacting what is happening, when our meeting, when our interaction, and then we are going to our divisional council head. Yes, that is Anuj Bhatnagar ji. So I am not going directly to Anuj Bhatnagar ji, I said, because he is the contact point, and then we together are going to the Bhatnagar ji, and then we are saying this is what we are planning. So when we started, I said let us develop something for library information science guideline, if not the final standard. And you have seen in this slide, they say the first point started, the lowest point was a panel committee, panel expert meeting, right there. So I said let us start with a panel panel meeting, and in the panel meeting we said let us have a subject. So we thought let us develop a guideline for information services for researchers. Information services for researcher in academic libraries, in research libraries, in public libraries. So we made our title very broad, information services for researchers. So what guideline we should develop? See, I am not the expert in that area. We all have to work together. So we really need a feedback from the university library system, like Delhi University. We do need a feedback from IITs or NIIT people that what the research information services they are giving. Similarly, I ask many of the library professionals, you tell us what are the problems in library and how we can make a rules or guidelines to solve that problem. In our first session here, we'll be discussing more in detail that how we'll be doing. The ideas are coming up and we are building on that. This is what I thought I'll share with you about my interactions with the BIS. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Shailendra Kumar sir, for your enlightening talk. Your insights have left us both informed and entertained. We truly appreciate your time and expertise, sir. Now, to formally acknowledge the efforts and to conclude the opening ceremony on a note of appreciation, I invite Shri Kishor Mandal sir, Scientist C, Bureau of Indian Standard, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Okay, am I audible? So, honored guests, esteemed experts, and all the attendees, a very good morning to each one of you. It is an honor to extend a vote of thanks in this momentous occasion. First and foremost, I would like to express my profound gratitude to our esteemed guest. Professor Balaram Pani sir, he could not join us, but he helped us in organizing this event. So thank you very much, sir. I also like to thank Professor Shailendra sir for his dedication in organizing this event, and he elaborated a lot about the standards, BIS, and how DU can collaborate with us. Right. Thank you very much, sir. A special thanks to Dr. Rajesh Singh, University Librarian, Delhi University, who welcomed our seminar with such a compelling and inspiring talk. Sir, your words have set a profound tone for the day. I extend a heartfelt thank to Shri Anuj Bhatnagar sir, though he could not join us because of some hospital reasons. So on behalf of him, we have a guest, Shri Rajiv Ranjan sir, who talked a lot about our activities. Thank you very much, sir. Finally, my deepest thanks to all the participants who joined us today. Your active involvement and eagerness to engage in this seminar have made this gathering not only possible but also truly meaningful. With this, I hand over the part to. Thank you very much, everyone.